Ever think that bag of chips you have could be, well, dangerous?
Dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous. We're going deep today into food safety and recalls,
Okay.
and using some recent FDA notices and news articles as our guide. It's way more than just checking those expiration dates, let me tell you.
I bet.
So get this. There's a recall on Lay's potato chips, and the FDA just upped it to a Class 1,
Oh, wow.
which is the highest level,
Yeah,
meaning it could cause serious health problems
right.
or even death.
That's the most serious.
And guess what? It's because some bags might have milk in them, undeclared.
Undisclosed milk, that's a big one.
Yeah, and for people with severe milk allergies,
Oh, yeah.
even a little bit can trigger a reaction.
Absolutely. You're talking hives, cramps, dizziness,
Wow.
even swelling of the vocal cords, really dangerous stuff.
So this is not just a best before date issue.
No, not at all.
But to be fair, Frito-Lay, they make Lays, they've been pretty open about this, issued the recall quickly and given clear instructions.
That's great. They're taking those proactive steps.
Yeah, they're getting those chips off the shelves.
Yeah, good example of how it should be handled.
So if you've got a 13-ounce bag of Lay's classic potato chips, guaranteed fresh date of February 11th,
Okay.
manufacturing code starting with 6462.
Got it.
Double check that code and possum if they match.
Especially if you have that milk allergy.
Yeah, no chances.
None at all.
This recall, though, kind of just the tip of the iceberg, right?
It is. There have been other recalls just this month for undeclared allergens, wheat, soy,
Oh, wow.
eggs, almonds, the list goes on.
Makes you wonder why these undeclared allergens are popping up so much.
It's a good question, isn't it?
Is it negligence?
Could be.
Cross-contamination?
Possibly.
Something else?
It's a complex issue, lots of factors at play.
We do have regulations like that Food Allergen Labeling and Consumer Protection Act,
Right, that requires clear labeling.
but we're still seeing these issues.
We are, and it's concerning.
You mentioned cross-contamination. I read about a case where a factory made both peanut butter and almond butter,
Interesting.
but not enough separation between the lines.
Oh,
Traces of peanuts ended up in the almond butter.
that's not good.
People had allergic reactions.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. Small mistakes, big consequences.
So what can we do? Check every label with a magnifying glass.
Well, being vigilant is important, especially with known allergies.
Sure.
But there's more to it, you know? Familiarizing yourself with the most common allergens.
Okay.
Milk, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, soy, wheat, fish, shellfish.
Right. Those are the ones that have to be clearly labeled.
Exactly, under FLLCPA.
But there are gaps.
There are. These recent recalls prove it.
So what's the FDA doing?
They're working on it, monitoring manufacturers, encouraging stricter labeling. But it's a
Wow.
constant battle, you know?
It's like food safety is a shared responsibility.
It really is.
We need to be informed and proactive.
Absolutely.
But manufacturers and regulators have a role too.
Huge role. It all connects. The manufacturing, labeling, consumer awareness, everything.
It's about people's health and well-being, ultimately.
At the end of the day, that's what matters.
So beyond labeling, what can we do to address this?
Oh, there are some interesting ideas out there.
Like what?
Well, we could talk about that after a quick word from our sponsor. So before the break, interesting ideas beyond labeling, right?
Yeah, like what are some solutions, really?
Well, technology, maybe? Blockchain for traceability.
Blockchain, huh?
Yeah, imagine scanning a QR code on your chips
Okay.
and seeing the whole journey, farm to factory.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
You'd know where everything came from.
Yeah.
Any cross-contamination risks.
So like a permanent record.
Exactly. Every step of the way. Totally transparent.
Makes it easier to find the source if there's a problem.
Exactly. No more guessing games.
But is that realistic for the whole industry?
It's a challenge, for sure.
Yeah.
But some companies are already trying it out. Piloting blockchain programs. And as it gets cheaper,
Makes sense.
we'll probably see it more and more.
I was reading about a consumer group. They're pushing for more transparency, too.
Oh, yeah.
They want a system that goes beyond just listing allergens.
Interesting.
More detail about cross-contamination risks.
I like that consumer pressure can really make a difference.
So what about us? What can we do as individuals?
Well, knowledge is key, right?
Right.
The more you know about your allergies or your families, the better choices you make.
So, like, do your research.
Exactly. And if you're unsure about a product,
Yeah,
contact the manufacturer.
good point.
They should have all the details.
Sometimes they have more info online than on the label.
Exactly. So don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, we have the right to know what's in our food.
We absolutely do.
They should be upfront about it.
Transparency is key.
So beyond contacting them, what else can we do? to be proactive.
Support those organizations, the ones fighting for stricter rules.
Oh, for food safety and labeling.
Yeah, that's one way to make your voice heard.
What about just talking to people, spreading awareness,
That's huge. The more people know, the better.
creating that culture of awareness?
Exactly. Shared responsibility.
So it sounds like we've got individual actions,
Right.
like checking labels, contacting companies, and then bigger changes needed too.
Yeah, like that blockchain thing, stricter regulations.
It's complicated, no easy answers.
You got it. But I think if we work together, consumers, manufacturers, regulators, we can make things safer for everyone.
Especially those with allergies.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
Okay, so let's talk about the FDA. What's their role in all this?
Good question.
How good are they at monitoring all this stuff and enforcing the rules?
Well, let's get into that.
I think we kind of just assume the FDA is keeping our food safe.
Right.
But how effective are they really when it comes to these undeclared allergens?
Yeah, they have a huge job, the FDA.
Yep.
They oversee so much food in the U.S.
It's a lot.
Inspections, complaints, recalls, it's a big operation.
With so many companies and products, how do they even choose what to inspect?
Well, they focus on the highest risk stuff.
Makes sense.
Places with past violations, products with high allergen risks, that kind of thing.
Still seems tough to catch everything before it hits the shelves, though.
Yeah, for sure. The FDA has limited resources,
I guess so.
They rely on companies to follow the rules. A lot of it is self-reporting.
So what happens when a company doesn't? Like these recalls we've been talking about.
Well, sometimes consumers report reactions after eating something.
Oh, right.
Or it gets caught during an inspection. Sometimes they're even whistleblowers.
So it's more reactive than proactive.
In a way, yeah.
Is there any way to make it more preventative? Catch it before it becomes a big recall.
Tough question. Some people want more funding for the FDA, more inspections, new technology.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Others think working more closely with manufacturers would help improve safety from within.
Sounds like no easy answer.
Nope. It's a challenge, but it's clear we need to keep working on this, make the food system safer.
Especially for those with allergies, right?
Absolutely.
It all comes back to being informed, doesn't it?
It really does.
If you're unsure, reach out to the company, do some research.
Take control of your health. That's the main thing.
So to wrap up, it seems like we all have a part to play.
We do.
Consumers, manufacturers, regulators, we all need to work together.
For sure. Transparency, accountability, that's what we need.
And knowledge is power.
Absolutely. The more you know, the better choices you make.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone, for this deep dive into food safety and recalls.
It's been great.
Stay curious out there, and most importantly, stay safe.
Couldn't have said it better myself.